Welcome to our problem-based learning case study presentation.
My name is Rhianna Bloor.
And my name is Breanna Webster.
Let's start off with the case study. A teacher has allowed her grade 4 students to design a cover for their science textbooks. One student, Alex, has decided to decorate their cover with stripes of the colors of the rainbow. Some students have started commenting about how Alex had a gay textbook, and another student, Mackenzie, has passed this information on to her parents at home. Mackenzie's father called the school to complain and address concerns over a gay book in the classroom. He would like Mackenzie changed into the other grade 4 class. Mackenzie returned to class the next day and told everyone she was switching classes to escape Alex. The class didn't know, but Alex comes from a family with 2 dads and designed his textbook in honor of them. The teacher is unsure of how to approach and address these concerns. Bree, what are some of the problems we can identify from this scenario?
The problems that we identified include bullying towards Alex, a lack of inclusivity and understanding in the classroom, specifically towards varying family structures and relationships, a lack of school-wide inclusivity if a student is being targeted based on implied sexuality, and lastly, perhaps there may be additional educator training needed regarding how to create an inclusive classroom and training on skills regarding conflict management within the classroom.
Something that I think is super important to talk about in this scenario is the phenomena of heteronormativity and how this affects the case study and education as a whole. Most staff and students enter the classroom viewing the world through a heteronormative lens, and that has an impact on the way that they view others in the classroom. Someone who comes from a family background or personal identity that strays from heteronormative principles will have a different view of what is normal, what is love, what is family, etc. Things that may come out automatically, like mom and dad, that you may think applies to every child in the classroom, may not. And not just because of different sexualities, there are so many different reasons why a child may not have both a mom and dad. I think that ensuring that educators, especially, are entering the classroom with an educated view on these topics and providing an inclusive environment that is sensitive to these differences among students and their families is super important. Now that we've touched on that, what are some solutions to this scenario and to this case study that will help promote a more inclusive classroom environment?
So some of the solutions I came up with are reading stories with LGBTQ2A plus main characters and families, presentations with someone with lived experience as a member of the LGBTQSA plus community or education on the topic, empathy developing activities, activities to examine identity, and stronger and more comprehensive sexual health education or SOGI implementation.
I think those are great ideas. Let's start by diving into literary resources and how they can help transform a classroom environment into one that is more empathetic, understanding, and inclusive. How are they important, Bree?
Actually, literary resources are super important to develop learning, especially in children and young people. Did you know that literature encourages empathy, diversity, imagination, and emotional intelligence? It also helps to start conversations about real world problems in a way that is more suitable for children. It allows for a change in perspective, helping students peer into the lives of others and what that may look like. Do you know any good books that will help introduce young readers to different types of family structures and relationships?
Yes, I actually know of some good ones. Here are a few that will help introduce and normalize the many different family structures we see in our communities. They help reinforce the notion that love is good, and your people are important no matter who they are or what they look like on the outside. Some of these examples are Love Makes a Family, All Kinds of Families, Families Can, A Family is a Family is a Family. Do you know any more?
I actually just did a quick Google search and found some other great ones. Check these out. They're so neat. I didn't even know these existed. There's the family book, Mommy, Mama, and Me, My Perfect Family. I even found a website that has 21 books that celebrate LGBT families.
Oh, wow. There really is a wealth of resources like this online. Lists and lists have been compiled so educators can go through and find the ones that suit their learners best. I think that having a diverse library in the classroom is so important, not to push a left-winged agenda or indoctrinate students, but to allow them to be educated on all the different types of people that are a part of our society.
That's a really good point. Every family looks different, and that's okay. If we were all the same, the world would be super boring. What do you think about presentations? Are they really all that important? Why can't the teacher just tell the students about these concepts?
Great questions. I think that having someone come in to present to the class would be a great idea. This gives students the opportunity to listen to someone tell their story in real time, and they can interact with them, ask questions, and gain insight from all their curiosity. This ensures that the speaker is ready and willing to respond to young, curious minds, which is not always the case.
I found this TED talk called Why Kids Need to Learn About Gender and Sexuality. It really opened my eyes to why this topic is so important for young people to learn about. The presenter in the video also has lived experience as a member of the LGBTQ. Isn't that awesome? I think that students would really connect with this video.
What a great resource. I actually found out that the speaker from this TED Talk runs a whole initiative called Queer Kid Stuff. They have a podcast, videos, and tons of other kid friendly content to help educate youth on the spectrum of gender and sexuality. Did you know that the educators from Queer Kid Stuff can also come to your school and do presentations? They call this Rainbow Day. During a Rainbow Day event, their staff will come into your school and host things like classroom workshops, grade-wide story times, assembly performances, faculty professional development, parent talks, and luncheons for your school GSA or Rainbow Group. You can choose what you'd like to include in your school's Rainbow Day based on what would be most beneficial for your school community. Now, I think we should really dive into how we can develop empathy in the classroom. Are there any set activities that could be implemented, Bree?
Empathy development is crucial. There are so many online resources to help develop empathy in the classroom. I came up with some examples of how you could develop empathy through activities. You could get students to come up with ideas on how to make their classroom more inclusive for everyone. You could allow students to choose a book from an inclusive library and have them write a report on the differences and similarities between themselves and the character in the book. In addition, you could get students to do research on a relevant social justice issue and then present their findings in the method of their choice. I also found this website called the Trevor Project that has so many fantastic resources on developing empathy and awareness of others.
I just checked out the Trevor Project, and you're right, this is great. I found an activity that would work great for this situation. This activity allows students to learn about the perspectives of those in the LGBTQ plus community and recognize their biases. I think that's really important.
Here's a fun coloring book from the organization Queer Kid Stuff that we mentioned earlier. You know, some indoor recess, rainy day activities for when there's not much else to do and students need a bit of a brain break.
In addition to activities that develop empathy, we also wanted to highlight activities that develop identity. Why would an activity like this be beneficial for young students?
Definitely, learning about identity allows students to recognize the many roles they take on in life. It can give students the greater sense of purpose and importance in their life. Knowing one's identity also gives individuals a sense of belonging, which contributes positively to well being and confidence. Learning about their own identity helps students identify the communities to which they belong. Do you have any ideas for activities that may work?
I do. I found this identity lesson by the Gay, Lesbian, and Straight Education Network, made specifically for grades 3 to 5. This lesson supports each student's ability to empathize, connect, and collaborate with a diverse group of peers, skills that are really important in our multicultural global society. In this lesson, students will explore their own identities and personal experiences with race, culture, ability, family structure, religion or spirituality, and gender identity and expression.
I've completed a similar activity in the past called the Johari Window. In this activity, individuals examine various aspects of their identity through different lenses. This activity allows students to examine how they see themselves and how others see them.
That activity sounds great too. I'd love to implement that in my classroom or even try it out myself. Next off, we have the section on implementing a comprehensive sexual health curriculum in SOGI. Can you tell me a little bit more about what that means?
I would love to. This is a really important area of learning that a lot of students miss out on. Some of the core principles of a comprehensive sexual health education are inclusivity, equality, and human rights as they relate to sexual health and gender identity. Comprehensive sexual health education is extremely important for ensuring that the rights of others are respected, regardless of their sexual orientation. CCAN, the Sexual Information and Education Council of Canada, is a useful resource that all individuals can access online. A comprehensive sexual health education includes content on gender identity, sexuality, reproduction, and more. If you check out CCAN, you can read more about the Canadian sexual health education curriculum and policies. Comprehensive sexual health education is essential for ensuring that all individuals have the knowledge of and access to resources regarding reproductive health, puberty, consent, sexuality in a digital world, LGBTQ2S plus sexual health content, including relationships, sexuality, gender identity, and family planning. And comprehensive sexual health education can reduce sexuality and gender based violence, STIs and unplanned pregnancies, and stigma surrounding human sexuality. Here's what the CCAN website looks like. And these are the documents that I recommend you check out.
Awesome. So, I did some research to figure out why having a comprehensive sexual health education curriculum is important. A comprehensive curriculum involves students learning about bullying and discrimination and provides opportunities to discuss discrimination against LGBTQ2S plus individuals. It also helps students understand the impacts of discrimination and improve awareness and understanding of the diverse people around them. I also read up on SOGI. Did you know that SOGI is not a dedicated curriculum? But here are some of the ways I found that SOGI can help students and educators. Take a look.
Everyone has a gender identity. SOGI stands for sexual orientation and gender identity. And implementing lessons on these topics helps educators address things that may not be in the curriculum. You can pause here and read more about the SOGI curriculum.
Everyone has a pronoun that they are identified by, and it is up to the person to tell you what their pronouns are. Never make assumptions. Here are some of the pronouns individuals may use. Remember, this is not an exhaustive list, and there are many more pronouns in use.
Here you can find the essentials that SOGI schools need for implementation, the policies and procedures, how to promote an inclusive environment, and various teaching resources. On the SOGI 123 website, you can find all these resources and more.
Did you know that over 64% of students report hearing homophobic comments daily or weekly at school?
Seriously, that is hard to hear. Our children deserve better. Did you know that there are an estimated 2,500 plus SOGI leads connecting through SOGI education networks across Canada? I think that gives us some hope. Let's finish this off with how we will deal with the situation interpersonally between Alex Mackenzie and their families through progressive discipline.
All right, so first off, a meeting will be held with Mackenzie and her parents to discuss what was said in class, how bullying is not tolerated, and to help increase awareness on how the classroom is an environment where everyone is welcome and included regardless of their identity. Despite Mackenzie and her parents wanting her to be switched into the other grade 4 class, the school decides that this is not a good course of action as it will only enforce the hostility and exclusion that has been taking place. During the meeting, it was also discussed that Mackenzie will be expected to make a sincere effort to apologize to Alex for the assumptions that she has made about him, and she must take accountability for her part in the rumors that have been spread around the school. Lastly, a meeting will also be held with Alex and his fathers to discuss the situation and allow the school to express their apologies for what has occurred in the classroom. The school had also prepared a plan similar to what we've shown you today, highlighting the action that they will be taking in order to make Alex's school a more inclusive and safe environment for him to learn.
Thank you so much for listening to our presentation. We hope you enjoyed it.
Have a great rest of your day.
Here you can pause and read the references that were used to create this presentation.